and welcome once again to the 7th tutorial video on creating a double barrel crossbow using the box modeling technique. Now, last video we went through how to use the extrude tool, the align tool, and the welding tool to construct our box into a more crossbow-like object using our blueprints. Now, in this tutorial we'll be using these tools once again just to refine the handle, the top piece of the crossbow, as well as refining the middle area of the bow as well. Let's kick it off by selecting our model, going to the polygon selection and extruding our rounded areas off at the top of the crossbow. So select your model, go to the editable poly, select our polygon selection, and we'll start selecting our top area and our rounded area here. So if you just start with the top piece here, this top part, just before it goes down, and holding control, we'll just keep selecting them all the way almost to the end of that end of the handle there. So this will be our top piece of our crossbow. So keeping that selected as well, still holding control, select all the polygons that go all the way down to the bottom as well. So just like that. Okay, once that's done, scroll down and we'll simply extrude using the extrude settings. Now if they're not if they're going inwards, or if they're still keeping the same settings as your previous extrude, that's fine. Just reset it back to 0 using the right click option. Okay, so once you've done that, make sure you've got local normal selected and not group or by polygon. So if that's all good, then let's just extrude it out to 1 centimeter. So just type 1, enter, and it'll extrude the polygons out to 1 centimeter. Just press OK, and there we have it. We've got our extruded areas. Remember too, when you're extruding in the center of a symmetry model, make sure to turn off symmetry and just check to see if it's created any polygons in the middle as well. So as you can see, it has using extrude tool. So we'll just simply go into there, highlighting these inside polygons and just deleting them. So once you've done that, deselect, turn it back on to symmetry, and there we have it. Okay, so next what we want to do is we want to start refining this center piece here a bit more. So if you go into the edge selection, go to the side view, so L for left, zoom in and make your box invisible, Alt X. Okay, so we want to get this nice rounded area here. So what we can do, we can select outside of the box, highlight all the edges that go through it in the middle, making sure they're all selected. Scroll down and we'll just create a few edges around. So we'll make probably about 2 edges this time, keeping the other settings to 0 and just committing. Okay, so once that's done, go to the vertex selection and we can just start manipulating these here. So just highlight the 2 bottom or 4 bottom vertices first. So clicking out, highlighting, going to the move tool, making sure the move tool selected, and just move them up. There we go. That way we can refine the model a little bit easier for us. So once you've done that, we can go back out of the vertex selection, go back into the edge selection, and we can just refine this little area here. See how it kind of dents in and then goes out. So we can just create another edge using this. Going down, connect, using the connect settings. We'll reset this connection segments to 1. And we'll just move it in place about there. Yeah, just so where it hits that corner part in your reference images. So once that's done, commit, and there we have it. Okay, so once you've done that, we can just move these vertices down a little bit further, just so we can start to get that line across where our model the bottom of our model starts. As you can see, we're not really using these vertices for anything special anymore. If I go to the perspective view, as you can see, they're not really doing much. They're just still keeping a straight line. So we can get rid of these by just simply welding them downwards. So if you just select your vertice, scroll down and go target weld, and we can just simply move these 2 down. So first one downwards, and just do that, and second one downwards as well. So that way we're keeping our polygon count to a lower number, which is great. So deselect that, and go back up, select the polygon tool, select these polygons that are creating that little gap in between. So if I go to left view, zoom in, see through, as you can see we don't need these polygons here, we can just simply delete them. So just go delete, select them, delete. I'll go to perspective. So there we've got our little indentation, and then it goes out. So as you can see as well, it's created a gap for us, which is fine. We can just simply select these two these two edges here, go into the edge mode, make sure you got edge mode selected, select these two bottom polygons, and shift drag up to create a new polygon just where the corner of this vertex is. So that way we've just created a little polygon to block that in. And same deal, we can move, holding shift again, we can move these edges along the y-axis to create some more polygons, just to close it off there. Now also too, when you're creating new polygons, they're not going to automatically weld together to the nearest vertex. As you can see, they're not welded together. Always be aware of this if you're creating new polygons or whatnot. If there are opened areas, make sure you weld them together just so you can close off your model, so there's no areas later on down the track when you're exporting or anything. So to do this, just highlight these vertices. So as you can see, there's two vertices there. I'll just undo that, highlight these vertices, scroll down, and we'll just weld them together. So now if I just click on them, they're both welded together. I'll just undo that. And same deal with this one here, so I'll just weld them together. Okay, so we can just continue on going into edge mode. They're already selected from the previous selection, and we'll just go to left view, holding shift, and we'll just create some new polygons just to where that next vertex is. So just about there. Looks pretty good. So as you can see, it's not in line, but we can align it up using the target weld as well. So if I go back to perspective view, move around, go to vertex selection, scroll down, and we'll just go target weld. So I'll just zoom in a little bit further, and we'll just weld the new vertices that we created to the existing ones. So we'll just click on the vertex, make sure you have the little ant, marching ants line, and just click on the vertex you want to weld to. So click on that. And same deal with the inside as well. So click, click, and the middle as well. So click and click. So that way everything's pretty much welded together. So if I move these vertices around, they're all pretty much welded together. Undo, undo. Yep. Okay, so now that we've got our little detail on the bottom, we can start creating our handle. So we'll just scroll up, go to the polygon selection, select all the polygons that will create the handle. So all of these ones, holding control to select multiple ones. We'll just go to left view, make sure they're all selected. Okay, so also too, you can see where the handle starts. It's pretty much halfway between this edge here, or this polygon here. So we can just create some more edge loops around this area just to refine it a bit more. And so we'll just go to polygon perspective view, scroll down, just make sure you've got them all highlighted all the way up to the top. Yep, it looks like they're all selected. Go to back to side view, scroll down, and we'll just go connect. And I'll just reset 1, 0, 0. And I'll just go in a little bit further, just so it might be a little bit hard to see. If I go to F3 wireframe, you can see this line here we just created. So we want it to start just where the handle stops in the middle, where the trigger is. So just move it across. I'll go to F3 as well, just so you can see where I'm going, moving it down and up. Just probably about there. I'll just go F3 again. Yeah, about there. Looks pretty good. So I'll commit. So that way we've just refined our where our handle will start again. So if I go to perspective, look at the bottom. Now we've got this edge here. We can just select all these polygons that make up that area here, and we can just simply scroll down, make sure you have polygon selection, scroll down and extrude. So using the extrude settings. If I go back to left view, we can start extruding downwards towards our handle. So the first point of difference is this little sloped area here. So we can just simply create a edge, or sorry, stop the extrude to that point, and then we can continue making more extrusions, creating loops around our handle. So about 1.2 centimeters downwards will be a pretty good number. If that's not the right number for you, but it still matches up to that little end of that slope where the trigger is, that's fine as well. So just commit. So a little plus sign, and that way we can continue on. The next intersection will be just after that little trigger piece there. So as you can see, the handle tends to push out from the middle there. So about there looks a good position to have another loop in between as well. So just commit, and we'll scroll all the way down, probably about to here as well, just before the handle starts to go inwards. So just commit, and as you can see, it's created a bit further away just because we've got our centimeters up high. We can just reset that and grow again, probably about to the end of the handle this time, and commit. Okay, so now that we've created a handle, we can go to the perspective view and just adjust it a little bit further. So as you can see, it's pretty wide at the moment. It's very wide. So I'll just scroll up, making sure I've got polygon selection, and I'll just highlight all of the polygons that make up the handle. Also too, remember, when we're extruding, make sure you turn off symmetry mode to delete those little polygons that it also created on the inside where the center is. So highlighting, control, going to polygon selection, just deleting them. Okay, so nothing is intersecting our center area there. So just turn back on symmetry, highlight just drag, highlight the handle, make sure you don't have any other polygons selected, we don't want that, and we'll just simply push them in along the x-axis. Don't worry if it's making a gap in between the middle part, we can just move the polygons again towards the center. So for now, just narrow it only a little bit, about there. So make sure you've got scale selected and just scaling it in the x-axis here. So probably about there, and just go to the move tool again, W, and move it inwards towards the x-axis. So that way we've kind of got our shape starting to form. As you can see, it's a bit sharp around this corner here, so if we go to the edge mode, select these edges here, right, and we'll along the x and y axis, so it's only highlighting one axis, but if I go in the middle to highlight this little box down here, you can see there's 3 boxes, just the bottom one, we can move it along the x and y axis. So probably about there. Looks pretty good. So if you want to go to the bottom view, B for bottom, zoom in. That way you'll be able to see your handle a little bit easier. So just probably about to there. It looks about right. And same deal with the next vertices inwards towards the middle. I'll just highlight these vertices here that make up the handle, and I'll just smoothen it out a bit more. So I'll just move it down to make that roundness there. So just about there. Looks pretty good. Okay, so once that's done, untick vertices, go to perspective view. I always like to go to perspective view just to see what the model is starting to look like. So that's looking pretty good so far. So we'll just go back to left view, L for left, and we can start to move these vertices in a bit further. So I'll undo that. I just simply highlighted these 6 vertices here that you can see. So I'll just move them in there. And same deal with this bottom piece as well, so I'll just move them in there, about there. It doesn't matter if you don't have that curvedness there, it's just pretty much a guide at the moment, and I'll just move those in there, just highlighting 3 of them, just so you can get a rough shape happening. So yeah, looks pretty good. Moving this middle piece in, moving this middle piece in here, so about there. So far it looks pretty good. It's still a bit squarish, but we can refine it once we get to a later time. So I'll just go perspective, move around. As you can see, the bottom piece is still a little bit squarish. So I'll just highlight. I'll just go to the front view, F for front, and I'll just move them, highlighting the bottom, just the 3 bottom pieces here. As you can see, I'll try and go to the wireframe. You've got this vertex in here and these vertices in here. I'll just move them in, highlighting all 3, move them in, and same deal with the inmost vertices as well. Just move them, just so you got a bit of relaxing going on there. So they're not just obscuring too far. You just want nice fluent polygons to go from one end to the other. So that's pretty good there. So we'll go to perspective view. I'll unhide that again using F3, and so far it's looking pretty good. I'll just move these ones in a little bit further. There we go. Same deal with these. Just move them in. Okay. So now that we've got our handle done, we've pretty much done the bottom here. We've extruded the top here. The next tutorial we can just keep refining and add our bows in the front here. So, okay.